I'm glad that we're here together today to talk about ethics in the university. Basically, the way that I approach this is the simple idea that respect for the individual will lead to much more ethical behavior. And I want to start out with basically three ways that I've come to that. And I should say, I think that respect for the individual is not apparent on the university setting, but it goes way beyond that. That it's really at least a national problem, if not an international problem. And so, I think I first come to this conclusion that respect for the individual is so essential for a personal reason. I am the older brother of someone with autism. My younger brother is autistic, and I've just seen such tremendous disrespect in society towards people with developmental disabilities. And when I think about what is inherently unethical behavior, so often what I think of is disrespecting those who may not have the ability to understand that you're disrespecting them. That I think of times from my childhood, and I think we can all think of times from our childhood that jokes about quote unquote retarded people or the kids in special ed were such a schoolyard phenomenon, and way beyond elementary school. And so respect for the individual in that sense, I think, really would give us more of an ethical foundation. And then I think about organizationally within the student association that I'm president of this year, how respect for the individual would really lead us to more ethical behavior. That how quickly it is that that we fit into the hierarchy that is I would say necessary, but at the very least is established by the student association. That these positions that we elect ourselves to can be so confining and can be so it can really pigeonhole you in a way that that you lose respect for the individual student, and you lose perspective. And I think that ways that we can rid ourselves of the hierarchy, especially on the personal level, are going to be the most useful ways to have a more ethical university and a more ethical student government. I think the more that elected students realize that we can't be effective and can't do anything without support of the student body, and without a connection with what I would say the average student, but even that causes issues. What is the average student? But I haven't come up with a better term than that. As soon as when we forget that connections with the average student are essential to get anything done, anything consequential done as a student government, we run into problems. So, and then it moves into really, the university as a whole. That I think that there is certainly a disrespect for the individual. I'm sure that this finds itself on the professor level, certainly. But what I can speak to is just the disrespect that students feel from the university administration, and it's and in that case, it's both the individual and current students collectively. I wrote down here that current undergraduate students are the least respected constituency out of any, and then I realized I was sitting next to Wazir.
Who are less respected.
Right, you could certainly make the argument that graduate students are even less respected. Yeah. But you know, what I've seen this year is just I think it all comes down to money. There is a commitment from the university to future students, because and making sure that the university is marketable to future students, because they'll be paying the tuition in the future, and there is such a commitment to alums, because where will the university go without the financial contributions of alums? And I think I'm in a position to see that there is a role that money has to play on the university, in the university sphere, that it needs to be a factor in some of the decisions that are made, but from what I've seen, it has become the end-all and be-all, the deciding factor, and what the constituents want, what the actual students who the university is supposed to exist for, what they want is always pushed to the wayside. And really, the few concessions that I feel that I've gotten from administration this year are usually when they finally come to see, oh, you know what, this benefits us as well. But never a respect for, you know what, this is something that students hold dear and something that we need to retain, or that we need to change about our university. So I know that there are no easy answers to this, but I guess I'll conclude with, I believe in all areas of society, whether it be on the personal level, whether it be within our organizations, whatever we belong to, whether it be the university, respect for the individual would lead to a much more ethical interaction and a much more ethical society.